Buying virtual items for online games is anything but new. And for over 20 years, people have been buying, selling, and swapping their items in shady black market deals that could just get them banned. But that sure hasn't stopped some of the biggest digital item sales of all time going down. I take a look at the top 7 digital item sales of all time and if they were actually worth their massive price tags. Are you ready? Well, hey there gamers, thanks again for joining me. If you've ever lurked around in a virtual marketplace, then you know that the cost of some of these items can get a little crazy. It's not that uncommon that the only benefit that comes with owning a rare collectible is nothing more than shoving it in other people's faces, right? Other times, investing in a bustling digital universe can be what sets you on the path to building a very nerdy empire. Now, ultimately, going to come down to what you want, right? How much cash you've got and what you got your hands on. I'm not here to talk about just any expensive items. I want to break down the 7 most insanely expensive digital collectibles that have ever been sold since the early days of multiplayer gaming. Along the way, I'll give you my 2 cents on whether I think the price tag lived up to the hype. Oh, and make sure you stick around to the end because some of these sales might just surprise you. Let's jump right in with the long-standing classic World of Warcraft. This one probably needs no introduction as WoW took the world by storm almost 2 decades ago, offering fantasy fans a chance to play across countless lands and get involved in epic quests. However, the popularity of WoW also spawned a market for selling high-profile accounts. Now, one such account was known as Zeuzo, who in 2007 was a fully maxed out rogue with gear that included the legendary twin blades of Azeroth, as well as 4 out of 5 pieces of tier 6 armor set. Zeuzo wasn't screwing around here, guys. So Zeuzo needed some extra real life currency and he decided to put the count up for auction. Now ultimately netting himself about $9,500 for his beast of a character. Now the new owner was probably pretty stoked about this purchase for about a minute because you see Blizzard doesn't look kindly on account selling, and since everybody and their grandmama was talking about this sale, it didn't take long for them to catch up and promptly ban the Zeuzo account forever. Now that epic rogue is gone and so is that $9,500. So was this purchase worth it in the end? Hell no. All right, moving on. Let's go from the past to the future and talk about Star Atlas. Star Atlas is a futuristic play and earn MMORPG, kind of similar to Star Citizen, but built on the Solana blockchain and is currently in early development right now. This one had a lot of buzz surrounding it and even recently released a closed alpha that actually lets players view the spaceships they pre-purchased for the game. Fans are ravenous and Star Atlas has seen plenty of market activity and anticipation, which brings us to our next entry, the legendary Calico Guardian capital ship. Only 235 of these bad boys were released onto the marketplace last year and gamers gobbled all of them up in just a matter of minutes. Anybody lucky enough to get one must have had deep pockets because Calico Guardians cost almost 30 grand when they dropped. Why would anyone shell out so much? Well, this big mother is among the rarest and most premier assets in all of Star Atlas. More importantly, in addition to being a pretty badass spaceship, the Calico Guardian also offers the owner impressive earning opportunities when the game goes fully live, so it can also be seen as an investment. Still, almost $30,000? Seems like a bit of a gamble since Star Atlas is still in closed alpha. So was it worth it? Right now, I don't think so, but if Star Atlas delivers on their game and the earnings are right, there is a chance it can pay off in the next 3 to 4 years. Okay, back to the classics. We had to bring up Dota 2 and the Ethereal Flames Pink War Dog. Now, Dota 2 has been one of the most popular MOBAs since launching in 2012 and has some pretty sought after items. One of the assets you can own in this game are called Couriers, basically pets that help you carry your junk. Not long after the game's release, some lucky son of a bitch sold an Ethereal Flame Pink War Dog Courier for $38,000 in an auction on the Dota 2 trade subreddit. Now this critter is worth so much because in addition to already being pretty coveted Courier, this pink war dog comes with pink ethereal flames. This color was only available from the original release of these Couriers because it was actually caused by a glitch. Now there's no way to get more of these fashionable puppies and there are only 5 in all of Dota 2 existence. That being said, the rare color doesn't actually make this war dog any more useful than its more common brethren. So was this actually worth the price of a brand new car? I would say that if the digital assets were easily tradable, and then it totally would be worth it. But the fact that Dota 2 has a massive esports community where you can show off that sweet pink war dog puts it over the top, so I think this could be worth it in the right player's hands. All right, it's time to go full metaverse. Anyone else remember Second Life? Second Life was one of the first massive 3D worlds that we consider a metaverse today, right? Kind of a metaverse. But they're doing all this in 2003. The community is still alive and thriving to this day, and the platform has a vibrant economy as well. However, no single purchase in the game has rivaled the sale of the virtual recreation of Amsterdam, which sold for $50,000 back in 2007. Now, by today's inflation numbers, that's like $1 million. Thanks, Federal Reserve. Okay, all jokes aside, this digital city offers recreations of several of the most iconic streets from its real-world counterpart, including a canal, a streetcar, a public square, hundreds of shops, and perhaps the main attraction, for sure, the Cyber Red Light District. Now, everyday users come to Digital Amsterdam to see the sights and purchase goods and services from the streets, many with an overwhelming adult theme. It isn't clear who the buyer of this titillating city was, but to this day, it remains the most popular and laggy in all of Second Life. So were they onto something here? I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to be the mayor of the Red Light District in Digital Amsterdam? The resale value is there since the community is still strong, so I think this was probably worth it in the long run. All right, let's move on. Now, I know damn well that some of you out there are CSGO players, and I know how you feel about your skins. It's estimated that CSGO skin economy is about $1 billion annual market. That's billion. That's great because we're here to focus on the most expensive skin ever sold and purchased, and that goes to the Souvenir Dragon Lore AWP Sniper skin, which sold in 2018 for $61,000. And just why was that skin so valuable? Well, for starters, the Dragon Lore skins are already the most rare in all of CSGO. Next, this is a souvenir edition, which means its variety only dropped during Valve-sponsored tournaments, making it even harder to find. Now, the clincher here is that this is a specific skin, has multiple logos from some of the top CSGO esports teams embedded onto it, as well as the autograph of Skylar Skadoodle Latham, the MVP of the E-League Boston Major in 2018. Now, that might not mean anything to some of you, but for CSGO fanatics, it's a big freaking deal here. For all these reasons, this skin has become the rarest and most coveted paint job ever applied to a rifle in Counter-Strike history. Of course, it doesn't make the gun shoot any better, so was it worth it? I think this is because it really captures a piece of CSGO history that very few will ever be able to own. In addition, the fact that CSGO has a long-standing and popular franchise with a thriving secondary market means this has great resale potential. It isn't just fast-paced shooters and RPGs getting into all these massive sales. TCGs are here to play too, guys. That brings us now to Gods Unchained. Gods Unchained is a Web3 competitive trading card game that plays a lot like Hearthstone, MTG Arena, or Runeterra, where you build decks of cards to kind of crush your opponents. Now, on the subject of deck building, if you want the best deck, you gotta get the best cards, right? Well, that's probably why somebody bought a one-of-a-kind Mythic Citadel of the Gods card for an astounding $76,000 just this last June. There are only 6 Mythic cards in the entire game, and they come with pretty impressive bonuses when played in battle. Because Gods Unchained is a play and earn title, and winning is how you make that money, maybe the buyer of the Citadel of the Gods is planning to leverage their newfound powers to get those wins. Or maybe they're just gonna try and flip it again in a few years. Either way, was this a really smart purchase? I actually think so, because this game is only gaining popularity and the potential for earnings not only in upcoming esports tournaments, but everyday play is pretty juicy. That and the fact that there's a popular secondary market to trade these cards means it's a winner in my book. All right, for our last entry here, we aren't just talking about a single sale. No, the top spots are all held by some very high profile sales in the virtual world of Entropia. Entropia has been around since 2003 and is another MMO virtual universe, complete with an in-game currency that can be purchased for a 10-to-1 valuation with real US dollars. This means properties and assets in the world have real value and ownership. We've had all kinds of different assets in this game, including space stations, all of which are filled with properties and user-made attractions that can be bought, sold, and developed. As I said, Entropia also has seen some mind-boggling sales over the years. We'll skip to the two most impressive, but there's plenty more that could have gone on our list today. Now, first up is the $330,000 sale of the Crystal Palace space station, which orbits the planet of Calypso, the home world in Entropia. The buyer went to the appropriate name of Buzz Eric Lightyear, and with this many purchases of different virtual property, the plan was to develop and manage the space station to eventually profit on this investment, which, given the popularity of the title and the location, he probably has by now. However, this sale is outdone by an even more impressive, the sale of Club Neverdie. Previously owned by John Jacobs, who is an English actor, director, entrepreneur, and just so happened to be one of the most famous players inside of Entropia. Now, Club Neverdie is built on an asteroid orbiting Calypso and is host to a nightclub, a mall, a stadium, and a dozen unique biodomes. In 2010, however, Jacobs sold his creation for a staggering $635,000. Which is still considered by many to be the biggest virtual trade to ever occur in history. Here again, the buyer is presumably making good money by running this high-profile establishment. Still, I have to feel that they're more like a property manager than a gamer at this point. So was it worth it? I mean, the fame alone you garner in a long-standing metaverse like Entropia might just be worth it for the right gamer, but from an investment standpoint, I feel like it might be too easy to mismanage these properties and end up not getting your return back. I'd rather put the work in and build something from the ground up than purchase a possibly crumbling empire. Well, there you have it, 7 of the most insane digital item sales ever to occur in online gaming. Ultimately, it's up to the buyers if they think these purchases were worth it, or they're hard-earned cash, right? Is something they would rather stock away in the mattress. Sure, it looks like some of these people came out better than others, and in any event, this list goes to prove that there is a demand for a thriving market for high-end skins and virtual items, and it's likely that there's a whole lot more of these types of sales coming our way as NFTs and crypto creep further into gaming and the metaverse. That's all we have for today, folks. Until next time, stash that crypto, friends.